The absolute worst rules in school. Do you feel that you're in a prison over how strict they can be? We all did, encountering these rules in school. Teachers have no chill for us being slightly late. This happened to so many people that I know, but we all know the abomination, which is the public transport schedule, especially if you live in a place like where I'm from, New York City. Buses and trains never come on time, always detour, and go slower than Mr. Krabs walking on the road. School starts at 7:30, so I'm getting the bus at 6:50, but when I walk out to the bus stop, there's no bus. 5 minutes passes, 10 minutes goes by, the bus is gone like a dad going out to get the milk. Then it finally arrives at 7:20, 10 minutes before school is about to begin. As the bus takes off, it's extremely packed because it never came on time, and by the time you reach school, it's 7:35. When you walk into the classroom, panting and out of breath, the teacher immediately sends you to the office to get a tardy pass, and then gives a lecture on if they could be here on time, then why can't you? And I understand for the people who roll up over an hour later, but come on, you know how bad the system runs. And then they'll try to say, plan ahead for any issues. But the problem is, you can't plan for everything. None of us complain when you come 30 minutes late to class because of traffic. So why one of the few times when we get slowed down, we get a lecture? This next rule is infuriating. It's now 9:30, you're sitting there at your desk and your stomach starts to growl because you haven't eaten anything since last night because school starts at 7:30, so you have to skip breakfast in order to come in on time. Your friend next to you knows this and tries to pass you a piece of a sandwich for you to eat, but the teacher then catches you and says, "Oh, eating in class," while her mouth is stuffed with food. So no eating in class unless you're a teacher. I had an English teacher who always used to eat during our class. Well, we weren't allowed to indulge in anything, and the guys let it slide because they were low-key down bad for her. But as long as you aren't leaving trash behind or dirtying up your desk, then it shouldn't be an issue. Like, don't all teachers have a lunch period as well? I know teachers have a lot to do, but so do we, and we should be allowed to do that. They're going to do it in front of us. As you're switching to your third period class, you were called out by your teacher doing your best Karen imitation. "You're not allowed to be wearing a hood up in school." But I have a big problem with this. What if your school sells hoodies for you to wear? Schools really have the audacity to make you pay $20 and up for an itchy sweater that you're not allowed to fully use. What's the point of even buying one then? But some people wear hoods to make them feel comfortable, for fashion, or the fact that they got the little bill treatment. And for especially the last one is the toughest experience ever. I have many memories of guys coming in with a Squidward special, only to get roasted for the rest of the day, followed by receiving more smacks on the head than Plankton getting smacked by the spatula. The excuse they may bring is that, "We can't identify you." Bro, you literally see me right in front of you every single day for the past 5 months. What do you mean you don't know who I am? Everyone hates this next rule. Schools really do try to make as much money out of you as possible for uniforms, charging for $20 and up to over even $30 for a shirt or hoodie that has a small logo on it. And the quality of these shirts and hoodies are like a coin toss between being okay and downright horrible. These hoodies in my school used to give us would feel so bad against my skin, I would always have to wear something under it and face overheating just to not feel like I was rubbing against sandpaper. But the worst thing about mandatory school uniforms would be being forced to wear loaner uniforms. If you don't know the crime against humanity, which are loaner uniforms, you are so lucky. What loaner uniforms are a set of uniforms that the school keeps and loans them out to you for a day if you didn't come to school with a regular uniform on. So if you made the mistake of not wearing one, you'd be forced to put on the dustiest, crustiest clothes drenched in somebody's sweat from the previous day for you to wear for the rest of this current day, or they'd give you detention. And since we made this great mistake, our third period teacher then sends you to the principal's office where they keep all the loaners. And all I saw, a box that a dozen or so shirts, all tangled up and damp from the previous day. It was one of the grossest feelings walking around with that shirt on, and the school staff tries to make excuses like, "Oh, these are washed every single week." With what dryer? Every time when we go to the office to get a loaner, the box that holds the loaners looks like it hasn't been cleaned since MJ passed away. Yeah, I'd rather have detention than being forced to wear one of those. Everyone despises this next rule. This can decide your entire outlook for a class for the next 6 to 14 weeks, and that is assigned seats. And there are times when you hit the lottery and you and your friends are all together in one corner or one segment, but the other times you aren't as lucky and are surrounded with the most questionable people you might ever meet. During these times, they had me dreading the moment I'm walking up to their classroom door, especially when their class is the last one of the day. I'm just begging it to be over the moment I walk into class. But the worst assigned seats I've ever had was back in music music class. Not because of the people who I was around were bad. The problem was that in our music class, we had assigned chairs, numbered 1 to 30 on them, and if you were caught in the wrong numbered chair, even if you were in the right spot, my music teacher would deduct points from you faster than Dash running on water. And one day I so happened to be sitting in chair number 30 instead of 22, and my grade for that week fell off harder than Cars 2. But the other reasons why they do this, like your 6th period teacher gives, are that we want you to meet new people and expand your circles. But isn't it my decision who I want to make friends with or not? Then they're surprised when fights break out. I think after going to a certain school for at least a couple of years, you easily know who you can get along with or not. So while in 6th period, imagine you were like the Flash and you managed to finish your classwork so fast that you decide to do your other class's homework just to get it out of the way so you can possibly relax when you get home. You apparently aren't supposed to be doing that. One of my math teachers were furious at me and a few others because we managed to finish our work and started working on our other class's homework, and she replied,
"When you're in this classroom, you're supposed to be doing math only."
and she threatened to write us up if we continued. Like, come on, you do know that we have other responsibilities and classes to take care of besides this one. What's the point in sitting in this classroom doing nothing? How are we going to be punished for doing schoolwork in school? She had us glancing back and forth as if we were paranoid, trying to do our homework right behind her. As I covered in my first video, the process in getting to use the school bathroom is somehow legal. Needing to use the bathroom is like a giant game of chance, as it all depends on your teacher, and if they're chill, or if they want to do their best impression of a drill sergeant. These types of teachers will pull out every excuse into why you can't go to the bathroom, and act as if what we're learning at that given moment will make or break our future. Are we not pretending that after this upcoming test, I will not remember any of what was covered literally the next day? I can't focus now while needing to go, so what's the point in stopping me? I hated this rule. So your 7th period teacher is in the middle of their lesson when a small group keeps talking and they get annoyed. It's understandable, they're just trying to do their job. But then they say, if I get interrupted one last time, everyone gets detention. And you know what happens next. Some fine individual then tests the teacher, and guess what they do? Instead of doing the right thing, which is punishing the people who are interrupting them, they go after everyone. And now we all have to sit in silence for over 10 minutes after school for something that the majority of us didn't do. And as for someone who was really shy and quiet, this always used to infuriate me, being punished for no fault of my own. And their excuses for why they do this never makes any sense.
It's to strengthen the community.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone yelling at each other is definitely making each of us closer. It's completely unfair. All teachers don't collectively get punished for when one teacher makes a mistake. So why do we? This next rule is so petty. Nothing brings a teacher more to rage than seeing us pack up with about 1 minute left in class. They're always like,
Wait, well actually, I'm not finished yet, and no one is allowed to leave the classroom until I'm finished.
Some even have the nerve to stand up in front of the door and sometimes lock the door to prevent people from leaving. They do realize we want to get to our next class as fast as possible. You're not the only class that's on our plate, and it'll be you who talks to all of the other teachers who complain why we were late for their next class. And usually it's for something minuscule like an exit slip or a slide they could have gone to 10 minutes ago. If they didn't waste so much time, they take it so personal, yet there's nothing personal about it. So detention is finished. That was a long school day. Let me know, what was the dumbest school rules you had to deal with? Consider leaving a like and subscribing if you enjoyed. Tell me what you'd like to see next. I'm Scott. See you next time in the sanctuary.